What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to our channel. We definitely appreciate everybody tuning in and checking out what we got going on here. But first, you know what we got to do. If you haven't done so yet, or you're new to this channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time that we post a video so that you can stay up to date with what we got going on here in Casa de Vargas. The other day I was kind of thinking about it. You know, we just started this vlog. Just boom. Vlog number 1, Mother's Day. And that was it. We didn't really, you know, introduce ourselves, yeah. So that's kind of what I figured that we would do this time for this particular vlog. So what better way to really introduce us than talk about the story of us? So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to let all of you know how we met. So because I'm a gentleman, I'm going to go ahead and let Shannon go first, tell her side of the story. And then I will, once she's done, I'll tell you how it really happened. And then we'll let you decide whose version you like the best. So without further ado, why don't you tell them your side of the story about how we met?
So we met at a mutual friend's house in the summer of 2012. My girlfriend has known him since junior high.
No. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, he's supposed to wait for me to tell him my side.
Okay.
My girlfriend has known him since elementary school, apparently, not junior high. And so she kept in contact with him, and I've known her probably since post-high school because I knew her husband in high school. And we just happened to be at their house at the same time. It definitely was not a setup because he'll share maybe a little bit more about what was going on in his life at that time. But I will say that I do remember like looking at him, like walking into the house and like seeing him for the first time. So I don't know, maybe there was some sparkle in my eyes at that time. And he was really sad that day. So when that happened, I kind of knew a little bit about his situation. So I kind of was like, okay, he's not fully available right now. But because that sparkle in my eye, I kind of got to know him a little bit that day at their house. Like I mentioned, we were there at the same time. And our friend's married. At that time, she had 4 kids. 3. She has 5 now. But after that, it was more of the social media chit-chatting, and then randomly seeing each other at that mutual friend's house. They're very hospitable, so a lot of times their house is just open. So when you want to cruise by, you cruise by, and sometimes we would see each other. Do you want me to kind of go like after that?
Full blown.
The whole thing?
Yeah, up until we started dating.
Okay, so that was the summer of 2012, and we didn't actually start dating until the spring of 2014. So in that like 2-year span, like I mentioned, there's lots of chit-chatting on Facebook. Instagram wasn't so popular.
It was for me.
Well,
it was for me.
He's a lot more social than I am. It was starting to get more popular, I guess, maybe on my phone. Maybe it was already popular on your phone. And those 2 years, we kept in contact. We would occasionally meet for coffee. And it was kind of interesting because we would meet for coffee as friends, but I think we were still filling each other out, getting to know each other, and trying to see like if there was maybe a green light to start dating, which in that 2 years there was not. There was always talking and communicating and maybe a little bit of flirting, especially the closer we got to actually start dating in May of 2014. I knew he was a really good guy, and I knew that he had a good heart. I knew that he came from a Christian home, and I knew that he was a good catch. I just wasn't sure in those 2 years if I wanted to say yes to dating him because I knew that he was more like marriage material and not so much date and try and maybe it works out and date other people at the same time. Like I knew that wasn't gonna work if we would ever start dating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So then in May, him and I were chatting a lot on Instagram. And I was up in Oregon because my dad had passed away a couple years prior, and my family, we all met in Southern Oregon to put his ashes in the ocean. And I was staying with my other aunt in Northern Oregon, and I was there, I believe, Monday through Friday. And I remember praying on Tuesday of that week, and I told God, I was like, if Robert is somebody that you want me to date, or we want to pursue each other, or it's a green light, then I just pray that you'll give me a sign by Friday. Like something will happen by Friday to where it would be like we will go out on a date and hang out and really like look at each other and say, can this work, versus it just being super casual. So Tuesday, I got a call from my company that I was working for. We used to get Angel tickets for free. And they called me and they said, do you want Angel tickets for Friday night? We have 4. And I immediately said yes because I knew that I could fill the tickets. But in the back of my head, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope Robert's available on Friday night. Because, do you love the Angels?
Yes, I'm a big Angels fan, very big Angels fan.
So I knew that was going to happen. I knew that he would want to go. I just wasn't sure if he was available. So those 4 tickets, he got a ticket, I got a ticket, and then I brought my girlfriend. And my girlfriend and I had planned to meet prior to the game to eat because I didn't want it to be like a pressure of a date. It was a baseball game. It's very fun. Mm-hmm. There's lots going on. There's lots of people to talk to. You can stay in the seats. You can walk around. You can go to, what is it called? The bar area?
Oh, the Budweiser Pavilion.
The Budweiser Pavilion. Like, it's very casual.
The patio, sorry.
The patio. Budweiser patio. So he actually asked me if he could pick me up. And what did I tell you?
You told me no.
I told him no.
But
I just didn't.
I'll elaborate on that.
Yeah, I just didn't want like it to be like all awkward, like who's gonna pay for parking, and then does he have to buy me dinner before? And I don't know. I just wanted to have fun with him. And at that point, I still was trying to feel out the situation, and I wasn't trying to like get my heart involved yet. So we had a lot of fun. It was a great time, and there was no pressure, which is always nice. And then after that, he had tickets to House of Blues for what band?
For cover bands. It was a cover band night, but you tell your story as you remember.
And then this,
and
well,
I'll fill in.
Bands,
I'll fill in. Just tell it based on what you remember.
Okay, so that time I did let him drive to the House of Blues event. It was in downtown Disney. And again, it was really fun. I mean, I was prepared to pay for like my own drinks and all that. So again, it wasn't supposed to be like a date, but it kind of ended up being more like a date because, you know, there's music going, and I think we each had a drink, and just very casual and very fun. And like at that point, you're getting dressed up to go out versus like an Angel game, you can wear jeans. So it was fun. We flirted a lot. We didn't kiss that night, which is good. I was still like, I don't want to put 2 feet in yet. I don't want, because I didn't really want to like hurt him if we were both like, this isn't gonna work out after all. We tried it, never mind. And then that was closer to June, and then all of June we started hanging out a lot. Oh yeah, but he asked me on an official date. So he called me after the House of Blues event, and he asked me on an official date. He took me to King's Fish House, and so yeah, he did the whole pickup, paid for dinner, and then
oh yeah, I forgot about this part.
Was this the one where we held hands all awkwardly? No, that was after the movies. That was, I think, our 4th date, or 5th, or whatever. But he dropped me off at home, and he kissed me. He kissed me that night. So that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, I think our next date might have been the movies, and he picked a movie, that I really could care less about. It was like a action.
It was X-Men. It was X-Men. X-Men First Class, and I'll.
But
sorry.
I mean, I really have no idea what that movie is about. But we drove home from the movies, and he wanted to hold my hand, and it was super awkward. Because I'm not a big hand holder. It was super awkward, but we were just kind of like... and then he asked me to be his girlfriend
and
once.
You said...
And I said no. Can I tell him why?
No.
Okay. So I said no. It just wasn't quite there yet for me. I had to tie up some loose ends. And then he asked me to be his girlfriend on July 1st of 2014, and then I said yes. So we actually have that date in our calendar.
Yeah.
And we still remember it.
How many years is it just this past July?
6.
6, that's right.
6 years together.
6 years together, so. All right. Now let me tell you what really happened. No, I'm teasing.
That really happened.
I'm teasing. Okay, so we're going to rewind, and we're going to go back to from my point of view. Okay, so like she mentioned, she said I looked very sad that day, and I very well was, because something that, I mean, I'm pretty open with it, but I was literally just coming off of not an ugly, but a very hard divorce. I got married my early 20s or something like that. I don't know. And how old was I? 2000. I was 24. Got married at 24, and lasted a couple of years, if that. And we divorced, and I was pretty sad, not because, you know, I was like hung up on her or anything like that, but because I felt like a loser, you know, that like I let my marriage go or whatever the case was. So anyway, went over to the mutual friend's house. They invited me over and said, hey, you know, come on over, we're having people over. And so I went, and you know, we were eating. That was kind of like the theme of going to their house, was they always had like bomb food.
That's true.
Always had bomb food.
That's true.
So I remember going, and then my friend mentioned, oh, hey, my our other friend Shannon is coming. But she goes and has dinner with her family every Friday night, so she's not going to eat, but she's going to come and hang out afterwards. So I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, cool, no big deal. It's just chatting or whatever. And then, you know, maybe about 7:30-ish, you know, the doorbell rang. They went and opened the door. She walked in, and I was like this at the table doing something, and I kind of looked up, and it was one of those like, you know, like instantly went like frown upside down, totally. And like I immediately, like she immediately caught my eye. I just like, I knew at that point, like immediately, that I was like, you know, like in Wayne's World.
She will be mine. Oh yes, she will be mine.
That's exactly how I felt, and what I was thinking in my head. So talked to her a little bit, and like she said, you know, we saw each other once or twice more at our friend's house, and she claims to not admit this, or she doesn't want to admit this, claims it didn't happen, but she actually added me on Facebook and messaged me on Facebook Messenger. And I remember the day vividly because my best friend Nathan, he just moved back to California from Indiana. He was going to Purdue, and he just moved back to California. He didn't have a dollar to his name, didn't have a car, didn't have anything, and he asked me if I would give him a ride to go for a job interview in Santa Monica. And because I'm such a nice guy, I said, yeah, of course, you know, and you know, his parents actually I think they wired me money, or they sent me money some way or another, but they gave me like $25 or something like that just for helping him out those couple of times. But anyway, so she messaged me, and we kind of were chatting a little bit here and there. We went out for coffee, and like she said, there was a little bit of a spark, a little bit of chemistry there, but it just kind of was like not the right time. And, you know, I kind of was trying to force the issue. We would talk. I would try to hang out with her. And I remember clear as day, I was sitting in church, and there was, I can't remember if it was like a special speaker at church, or it was just like a specific sermon that the pastor was giving, but it was a proverb, I believe, I can't remember which proverb it was, but it said, run from the woman that is something or the other. It's like, gold drips from her lips, stay away from her house, don't go near her front door. And I was like,
what? Oh, you told me this before.
I was like, okay, I hear you loud and clear. So I immediately stopped it right there. Like I was like, okay, all right, that's it, whatever. So that lasted for probably about a year, because in that time that about that year that we were hanging out, talking and whatnot. So I proceeded to start, you know, going out with other women, hanging out with other women, going, you know, to concerts, going to, you know, the beach, hanging out in groups.
This is about us.
No, I'm getting there. So I'm getting there. I remember it just wasn't like fulfilling, because I just kept thinking about her. And I just kept thinking about her. And then I remember, like, I went out with this girl a few times, and everything was great. Like, you know, she was on the worship team at her church. You know, like, everything kind of fit perfectly. I'm like, all right, sweet. You know, this is kind of, you know, really cool thing. And then, like, it just, like, she ghosted me, and, like, we stopped talking. And so, I was a little upset about it. But then I remember one time that I was praying, and a while ago, and in that prayer, God reminded me that, hey, do you remember a little bit ago when you prayed about, you know, like, not getting into a relationship until it is the one that I have for you to marry? And I was like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. So totally remember that. So I remember after praying that, a couple of days later praying again, and then just being like, you know what, God, if I'm going to do it your way, which is usually always good, I am going to make a list. And I went, and I made a list. I mean, I wanted her to look like this. I wanted her to do this. I wanted her to have this. I wanted this. And, like, I made a list, you know, of all of my wants. You know, the Bible says you have not because you ask not. So I definitely asked. And that was that. So I think it was maybe about 6 months that I was not in a relationship, and we kind of reconnected on Instagram and just chatted a little bit here and there, and just talked back and forth. I think we went to happy hour once or something like that.
Oh yeah, we went to raw sushi.
I think we went to raw sushi. Yeah. We went to happy hour. And it was super cool because her friend was the bartender and, like, totally hooked us up.
That is true.
And so it was cool. Who was that, by the way? Do you remember who it was?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Did I say her last name too?
Did you say her first name?
Laura. Or Lara.
Oh, I have no idea who that is. Anyway, so that was that, and then, you know, we exchanged Snapchat, because that Snapchat became a thing in like beginning of 2014, and so we exchanged Snapchat handles, and we would snap each other back and forth pictures, and at the time I was doing deliveries for this dental company before I eventually got into sales, and I just remember, like, her Snapchatting me, and I would Snapchat her, and I'd be like, oh, I'm in Torrance today, or I'm in, you know, El Monte, and she's like, oh, I'm in Buena Park or Baldwin Park, and for work. So we would just chat back and forth, and then she did the whole thing where she went to Oregon, and that was that. You know, I was like, oh, I didn't know that she went to go bury or pour her father's ashes into the ocean. And, you know, she was up there looking all cute, like going to that, what's that bookstore up there?
Oh my goodness. It starts with a P. I'm going to have to Google
Yeah, my brother actually
Is
he had
it Powell's?
Powell Books? Yeah, Powell Books. I believe it's Powell Books. She was at the bookstore looking all cute with her like Pacific Northwest wear with like the infinity scarf and the Han
cold.
Solo boots and like typical what they all wear up there. And I was like, oh man, like that looks like a lot of fun. I wonder who she's there with. And mind you, I'd never met her brother. Well, did your brother go with you?
No.
I'd never met her brother. I didn't met anybody. But I'd seen other people in pictures. I was like, oh, she's up there with like some guys or something like that. I was like, all right, whatever.
I was not.
Yeah. So then later that week, I get like I remember I was driving and I got like a Snapchat, and kids don't pick up your phone while you're driving. I looked at it, and it was from her. And I opened it up, and that was when she asked me if I was doing anything on Friday, and I was like, well, I am, but I'm not. I actually was supposed to umpire. I was umpiring a tournament that weekend, and I had games that Friday night, but I was supposed to be done by like 6:30. I had I think I had a 4 and a 5:30 or something like that. Anyway, I was going to be done and like right before the game started. So I actually asked her, I was like, well, do you want me to pick you up? Hoping that she'd say no because I was umpiring.
What? You were hoping?
Yeah, I was hoping she would say no. I was asking her just out of courtesy, like, hey, do you want me to pick you up? But she said no, and I was like, all right, cool, good, because I'm umpiring. And so I did my 2 games, went home, showered real quick, booked it to the game, and I was super pumped that she got tickets for that game because they were giving away a free hat, a free Angels hat, the camouflage hat, which we still have them. We still have the hats. They were giving those hats away. And so we show up to the game, and her friends, she and her friends are already in there. I show up, I go, hey, what's up? Hang out with them, have a good time. And that was it. So I saw it as like, hey, I know you like the Angels. I know you're a big Angels fan. I got tickets, so here you go. So that's what she said. The following week, I happened to come up on some tickets to a cover band night at the House of Blues in Anaheim. I was dropping my guitar. I was in a band, and I had to drop one of my guitars off at Guitar Center to get new strings cleaned up, set up, and all that, because we had a couple shows coming up that we were playing, and I wanted to have my guitar set up. So they were sitting there on the counter, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool. So I grabbed like 3 of them, and that's when I texted her, like as soon as I got in the car.
Aww.
And I go, hey, thanks for the game, tickets to the game. I actually came up on some tickets to a concert at House of Blues. I appreciate you inviting me. Wanted to extend an offer as a thank you for, inviting me to the game. So she said yes, and like she said, we went. We had a good time. It was fun. It was Iron Maiden's Atomic Punks, who we just saw last summer also at the Orange County Fair.
We did.
And the headliner was Appetite for Destruction, which is a Guns N' Roses cover band. So great night. And there was an Aussie cover band too, I remember.
And it was a chick Aussie singer.
It was a chick Aussie singer. And so we had a great time. Like you said, a little bit of flirting, had a couple drinks. We didn't have dinner.
No.
We didn't have dinner. We just went straight to the concert. And so then, like she said, I called her up and said, hey, let's go on a real date. Because I was kind of feeling it now, kind of feeling her.
And it wasn't a text.
And it wasn't a text. It was a phone call.
Phone call.
And she said, yeah, sure. So, of course, because at that point in my life, I would work 40 hours a week and somehow still had the energy to go umpire 10 games on a weekend. So I was umpiring a tournament in Glendora, and I came home, I showered, and picked her up, and we went and had dinner, and everything went great. And she tells me, well, hey, do you want to go swimming at my friend's house?
Oh, you're right.
Afterwards.
That night. Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, cool, for sure. I'll bring my board shorts, I'll put them in the car or whatever. And then she goes, oh yeah, it's my friend, he lives over here. And I was like, he? I was like, oh great. No chance, whatever. And then,
like, oh, okay, cool.
So I was like, oh, all right, I guess, yeah, whatever, cool. We had dinner, had fun. We're gonna go swimming and hang out, and whatever, I'll move on. So then she kind of expressed something else to me about the situation with her friend, and I was kind of, and when she told me that, I was all like, back in the game. And so I was pumped
like my
about
brother.
that. And yeah, the friend that we were going to was like a guy that she worked with, went to college with. They were teachers together, so they were like, he's older than her, so it's like it's like her older brother.
There's no physical attraction.
Yeah, her older brother. So, and as I've gotten to know him over these last 6 years, totally cool guy, love him to death. And I mean, he like immediately became one of my friends. So anyway, we went to dinner, and like I've mentioned in other vlogs, Shannon has a gluten allergy. Something in her food got cross-contaminated, and she got glutened, and she was miserable for like a week.
Yep.
And I kept trying to call her and like, hey, do you want to hang out? But she was just like, leave me alone. Like, and I thought she was mad at me because she got gluten, but later on I found out it's just because she was like miserable, stomach pain.
And I didn't want him to feel like bad about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's not his fault. It's just something that happened.
Then July 1st came, and the second time I asked her to be my girlfriend, she said yes. So, so yeah, I mean, that was July 1st, 2016. And
14.
Or 2014.
We got married in 2016.
Yeah, we got married in 2016. Gosh. Anyway, so yeah, that's the story of how we met and how we started dating. So anyway, so yeah, well, let's wrap this thing up. We've talked your ear off enough tonight. So like we said, we appreciate your love. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you haven't done so, if you liked what you heard, make sure you give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, please, so you can be notified every time we post a video. If you enjoyed hearing this banter back and forth, if you enjoyed actually having Shannon on the vlog this time, let me know in the comments, and let her know, because that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to get her involved, trying to get her to be a part of this. As you can tell, I'm pretty comfortable in front of the camera. I have on-camera experience. For probably about 5 or 6 years of on-camera experience, so I'm pretty comfortable in front of the camera. She, on the other hand, little to no experience, so I just want to get her more involved. So please, in the comments, give her some support, give her some kudos, let her know how great of a job she did so she can see it and, you know, be affirmed and want to be more involved and be on camera more. So we love you, thanks a lot, and we will see you on the next video.